All right. Hopefully everybody hears us now.
Yeah, they're all whining about it. No sound.
Because this thing was acting up earlier, so I just wanted to make sure that everything was working. You know, you take a week off and everything goes to hell. I don't know what the fuck happens. Well, it ain't Monday.
But it's 7 o'clock. They knew this was happening.
Yeah. I know.
Jeff Chef said, Mike's saying zip it right now.
I did.
Bunch of
right on the head.
Dummies, he did. Yeah. Hey, we're Power Speed, 908-751-0211. Humps.
And, the usual, like us on Facebook and iTunes and blah, blah, blah. But anyway.
Go.
Mike's just giving me the stare down. I was like, oh, God.
Because you started out so good, and you're like,
Because it's just...
Put a little enthusiasm in it, Tad. I know we're all tired.
Anyway, I can say one thing, and I don't see Fudd on. Too bad, because I was going to say there's a job for him out there.
Oh, boy.
Machine shop we used to work at in
I was going to say, somebody need a fire watch, because I can't think of much more you can do.
No, I ran into a guy that I used to work at Lehigh Fluid Power, and he said, hey, yeah, we're under new ownership and stuff like that. And I was like, maybe Fudd can get a job there. Is
that the guy that fixed the hydraulic cylinder on the backhoe? He's up in by the fairgrounds where he went to the 4-H.
Yeah, it's up past there.
Agricultural fair. Look at the
past
tractors.
There.
Yeah.
But he doesn't fix. It's a whole machine shop. Just dedicated.
Yeah, they
to
had some kind of retarded lathe that sat on end or some shit.
No, that's a shop next door.
That's a shop I was in that fixed the cylinder. It was ridiculous.
That's not the shop that I worked at. I had a 176-inch long lathe to do big cylinders and
shit. Yeah, but I thought this thing was vertical, like the part spun.
Yeah, but
vertical.
That was the shop next door.
All right, well, look, dipshit. I'm telling you, the place I went to get my cylinder fixed, that's where it came from.
Can I interject though? So they're under new ownership, and you're considering offering Fudd up for this job?
No, the guy.
You want to fail them right from jump?
Well, the guy told me the place is going down, so I was like, Fudd, he's perfect for it.
Oh, he would just push it off the edge?
Possibly. He can't complain though. He get a job for a couple months before the place, goes down the toilet.
I haven't talked to Alan. You asked me, what's Fudd been up to? I haven't really talked. I mean, I talked to him,
Fudd's on.
But I haven't talked to him much. So if you want, I'll make sure he gives you a call, catch up.
Yeah.
No problem. All right. So surprise guest.
Oh, yeah.
And here's why it's a surprise guest. Because honestly, I never have any fucking idea who's going to be on until Monday afternoon.
It's always a surprise.
It's always a surprise. So first off,
the funny thing is I never
that's the worst part. Either. Usually at 4:00, Tom, who we got? I don't know. I have to make some calls.
Yeah. Crazy.
But we did sit down here. We did go through the thread on Facebook, and I know Tom has probably asked, we talked about today, probably 5 times in chat.
Yep.
Who do you want us to talk to? Who do you want to come on? And he usually makes a list on a piece of paper, but I'm going to make sure he leaves me the list, and then I'm going to text it to him. But
that's good. That's a plan.
Now, can we talk about the guy who was supposed to be on, but something came up?
Yeah, because he's going to be on next Monday. We do have a tire guy finally, a guy from Mickey Thompson. He's going to be good. I'm not going to say his name because I don't know if anybody would know him anyway, but he's been there a long time. I know him a long time, and you guys have wanted to talk about tire tech, so
I think that's a good one because it was there was so much there,
mm-hmm.
And if you look at the cars like the X275 stuff and all the things that are out there now, how fucking fast things are going.
They're hooking up with that little
tire.
Yep.
Now I'm sure some of it is suspension, but like things that they've learned. But I think the tire is responsible for a larger part of it. I don't think you could take a tire that you would have got, say, 15 years ago and throw it on a car and do this. I just don't think it would happen.
No, you probably couldn't. Yeah.
No.
Especially the DOT tires they're doing with.
Yeah, well, I mean, DOT is,
Yeah, it's just a little tread groove in a freaking slick. But.
Yeah.
Isn't that DOT?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it is kind of amazing how fast. So I think there's a lot to discuss in tires. I mean, we used to know from the Superstock the different compounds for the weight of the car, for the power of the car, because you can actually tear the tire. The tire would rip and it would roll over on itself. So it would be like trying to accelerate on a rolling pin.
Yeah.
So that there was an awful lot to that. And those are the things you learned when you had some back in those days, astronomically heavy Superstock cars that were like 3,600 pounds.
Yeah. And you had to run a 9-inch tire or whatever.
Well, no, they were,
that's right.
big tire.
Run big, yeah.
But there's where it gets messed up again because it's a big tire car, but you don't want to run a giant tire.
Right.
Because it slows you down because everything was about efficiency. Yeah. So you were looking for the best you could get. And 3,600 pounds. And now today you talk about it, it sounds stupid. 3,600 pounds, 800 horsepower, and trying to not just get down the track, but to get down the track super efficiently. The tire choice was critical. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to talking to that guy. I think that'll be good.
Yeah.
All right.
We were talking about, my drive up, we were talking about, somebody, we don't need to talk about who it was, but big power, crazy transmission, and wheel speed and stuff like that. If anybody has any, I guess, chassis setup guys, somebody pro stock or, I don't know who to call anymore. I'm tapped.
I don't know how you can be tapped.
I'm tapped.
Don't you talk to like everybody? Because doesn't everybody use like your products for something?
Yeah, that's true.
It shouldn't be this hard.
Maybe I'm just
stupid.
Dumb.
The dumb's another word for it.
Yeah.
No, there's got to be somebody that, and you're not thinking of it. And we got to get started on it earlier. But no matter what, that's neither here nor there. Tad, what did you do this weekend? Anything?
Got the Lincoln back on the road.
Okay, what about your Subaru?
Just texted, actually I called him on Saturday. He was like next
called
to get
him?
up.
I know, I was just...
You were thinking the same thing?
Fell out of my chair.
I know.
Yeah, he said it was they're going to get on it because they put the new intercooler piping on. Now it won't start. Why on earth that would make a difference, I have no idea.
Thought it wouldn't start last week when I talked to you.
And they still haven't figured out why it won't start.
Okay.
Did they ground the car to the intercooler pipes or something?
So I'm trying to figure out. I told them just in case they set the
alarm off. That wasn't a real question.
Just in case they set the alarm off, I was like,
See, if you don't have the air properly grounded, it just doesn't flow.
I know, man. It just won't move.
Well,
then you got back pressure. Jesus.
Anyway, he came, it couldn't be that. It's not that.
So realistically, just
yes.
to clarify, we should be like inches away from you actually
being
retrieving
on the stinking dyno, yes,
moldy
and getting actual numbers.
Okay, so we're
Bingo.
close.
Well, it was running, and it pisses me off that it's not running now. So
somebody just wrote ProTrack G60s.
Yeah,
remember ProTrack?
ProTracks,
God, ProTracks.
Bias ply ProTracks.
God.
Absolutely.
Or the iTreads and.
Are we really? Is that old? That we're that old?
Yeah.
Do they still make ProTracks?
No.
No.
You know what? You should bring them out again, man.
And you had to have them, and they didn't hook for
ProTracks, right? And then you were
and your American racing rims.
Yeah.
But,
yeah. I mean, I had welds.
I had Kragers SS's.
I hated them.
Oh God,
Everybody hated them. And then I had welds. Yeah.
This is a question that Fudd actually had. This is something he brought up. He's if you're gonna run one of these drag week cars and something that's aggressive, what do you have to use for wheel studs? You don't have to have 5/8, right?
I don't know. I don't think so.
I don't think I mean, I think all the typical nonsense that you had to go through, that the lug had to stick out past and all that stuff.
Yeah.
I'm sure they still handle something that way.
I mean, a 5/8 drive stud, that's
massive.
Yeah, big.
Yeah, they put them on.
But see, he wanted to put a regular wheel on, and apparently the axles that he could get.
Who?
Fudd.
On what?
On his car.
That's so funny.
Easy. But those, he wanted to drill, have a cast aluminum wheel and use a conical seat lug. I mean,
sounds like him.
Does anybody even use a conical seat lug? Like if they're trying to run something?
No.
Well, I mean, look, I mean, you got a street car with a street tire. I kind of get it.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you're doing something like, I wouldn't even imagine drilling a wheel and trying to resync in. But I don't know. That's just a question. So anybody wants to answer Fudd's question on how you put regular wheels on 5/8 studs, he's in the chat room. That ought to be amusing.
Yeah.
All right.
We should just watch that. We won't be talking. It'll be silent here.
Yep.
We'll be watching that.
The last thing. Oh, and by the way, Bill Armstrong was holding. I didn't blow him off, but I just hadn't opened the phone thing yet. So he opened it up, and I saw him. So he can call back.
Is that Bankshift Billy?
Yeah.
Oh. I knew that.
So the one thing that I did this weekend is I got a call from my mom. Washing machine won't work.
Hers?
Front loader thing. And I'm like, oh, fuck, for Christ's sakes. Talking to her about it. There's no error code on the screen. I go, it's full of water. It won't spin. So I take the thing apart. And this is just one of those things that bugs me. It seems like too many people are just too willing to throw shit out anymore. So the pump, they told her like $300 to fix it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. if you bought the pump on good old Amazon, so you know what it is, it's probably Chinese shit. And to be honest with you, the Chinese pumps are probably what they put in it to begin with.
Yeah.
It's a Whirlpool. If you got an actual quote-unquote Whirlpool pump, which looks exactly like the pump you could buy from Amazon, that was $154. That pump was $45. So I'm like, fuck it. I'm ordering that pump. And I was like, you know what? Let me go over there and see what's up. I went over there, just took the pump off. It's heated up. Like you could feel like it was hot from trying to work. And I'm like, took the thing apart, and it's got a, if you had a pill bottle that it's got the thing you got to push in and turn it, it's got one of those things, and then you could separate the whole motor and everything. So I took it all apart. The electric motor was all filled up with all kinds of stuff in the motor cavity. The O-ring was bad. I happen to have an O-ring kit in my truck that I bought like 2 weeks ago. Popped the O-ring on, washed it all out, put it back in business. And it just kills me that O-ring was like $5, and some schmuck was going to drive there, and some company was going to make $300 to just throw a piece of shit part.
Not happening. Not on your watch.
No, but
not on Mike's watch, folks.
Everybody should learn to fix their own shit.
That's right.
Yep.
Especially when it's for mommy.
Fudd can fix a hamburger or something, can't he?
No, Fudd would just have his wife buy him a new one.
That's right.
Oh,
Billy, what's up?
How are you guys?
Good. How are you?
I'm great. I have 2 questions for you.
Yes.
The first one is, if in a boosted setup, if your spark plugs aren't fresh and the gap is opened up a little bit, but you don't have a misfire, can you still lose a ton of power?
Say that again.
Okay. Boosted application. Spark plugs have been in there a while, but you don't have a misfire, but the gaps have opened up. So if you normally run at like 18 thousandths, then you got some that have opened up to 22 or 24 thousandths, but you have no misfire. Can the motor still lose a ton of power?
I thought you'd gain it.
All right. Well, here's something, and this is just me talking from things that I know had happened in the past. And I don't think it would apply if you're using like individual, coil per plug. But I can tell you this. On numerous occasions, the box that we used on the dyno was always an MSD 7 series.
Okay.
We had I remember we had an MSD 7X. They used to call it a hogshead because it had a big bump in the one end where the capacitor was. And from time to time, they will go bad. And you would like to think that they go bad and the thing just didn't run. Like, it would miss, it would break up, it wouldn't run. But you could have something that could be down an insane amount of power, and you'd be like, there's no way that it sounds as good and the box could be bad. And timing looks good. Everything's perfect. Nothing's moving. I don't know why it happens. Partial ignition. I'm not really sure.
Well, you'd see that in wideband.
You probably would see it in wideband. Yeah. Yeah. That because it's what it has to be. The combustion isn't good.
Right.
So you'd have to see it.
Right.
And this happens with magnetos too. You can have a magneto that goes bad, and they are the wackiest thing in the world. You could have a mag in a motor that's down like 150 horsepower, circle track thing that makes, say, 750, 800. It's down like 100, 150. You put a new mag in it, it's perfect. That can't be. So the ignition stuff, I'd love to give you an answer that, would solve your problem, but I can tell you that the ignition stuff can be really strange. And when you couple the coil on plug or coil near plug.
Well, why don't we break this down real quick? I mean, we're talking about spark plugs. So for, $30 or whatever, you could erase that scenario, no?
Well, get the big yellow coil. That's a plus.
8 of them.
That's true. Do you have a big yellow coil?
Oh, I got 8 big yellow coils.
There you go. No, I mean, like this question's obviously going somewhere else. How much power are you down?
Well, so I pulled the plugs out. They all looked good, quote unquote. So I put them back in, went to test. The car was down 10 miles an hour on the 8th.
Oof.
And I was like, wow, something's up, but it wasn't popping or missing or anything. So I brought it home, frustrated, pulled the plugs out, checked the gaps, and they were all over the place. So I put a fresh set in, which I should have done in the first place instead of being a cheap ass, because it was like $20. And I haven't been back to test yet, but I'm just curious if that could cause that. Because, I mean, it ran fine, and it wasn't popping or anything. Widebands all looked okay on the data log. I just had never had that happen before. And the week prior, everything, it was fine. I just did 8th mile testing, but it wasn't down like 10 miles an hour.
One of the things that I would think is that if the widebands looked okay and you don't see anything super horrible on the plugs or leakage or anything for that matter, if everything looks okay, and only, and again, because I haven't done enough of this, if you have an engine that has horrible leakage, would it show badly on the wideband? Like, it's never even thought about it. Like, these are all questions that I never stopped to ponder. But the unfortunate thing is if something was going away in the car, like a trans, a rear bearing, or God forbid, knock on wood, but like a main bearing or something that you haven't uncovered yet, they can scrub off an astronomical amount of power, and then it would never show in the wideband or anything because the motor itself, it
thinks it's okay.
Thinks it's okay. It's like, hey, I took in this much air, this much fuel, this much bang, this much power, but it never makes it to the back.
Yep.
Yeah, I have an oil filter that you can inspect, and I've pulled it, and everything looks good. There's, it's not making anything what I would consider abnormal metal.
Mm-hmm.
And you're a stick shift, so transmission's okay.
Right. It'd be the clutch going away, but that's not the issue either.
Yeah, I mean, you'd feel that or smell it.
Yeah.
Or both.
So how much is it down? Like, what does it look like in power?
10 mile an hour that's a
lot.
ton.
Yeah.
An hour in the 8.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah.
It is.
Does it roll? I mean, like if you were sitting on a hill and you push the clutch in, I mean, we always used to ask people that question, and it's not being sarcastic. But, we had one guy that said his car was terrible. I said, I'll go for a ride with you. Went around a block, and it's a stick car. So he got the clutch pushed in, and I noticed he ain't got his foot on the brake. And the cars are rolling down the hill. It was a hill on Washington Avenue, which is right by the shop. And I'm like, how come this thing isn't rolling backwards? He's like, never does.
It's that smell, that idle.
Yeah.
No, it's not. That's not the issue. And I've probably put a couple hundred miles on it on the street since then with fresh plugs, and it's hard to gauge on the street. I mean, it's just stupid on the street.
Well, the question is, could plugs kill it 100 without exhibiting other symptoms? And I would have to say, my personal opinion would be no. Could an ignition overall do it? I would say yes.
What's the second question?
The second question is, what's the status of the valves for Richard's motor? Because he might kick my ass when he gets this thing back together.
Yeah, I just talked to him about them. They were, I forget what I told him, but I texted him last week that they were
fantastic.
I don't know, 10 days or something like that.
I'm so anxious for him to make it to race week with this thing. We had such a blast last year, and I can't wait for him to make it this year.
Yeah, they're close.
That was my second question.
Yeah, they're close. I've been talking to him.
Perfect.
So
all right, we'll carry on. Thank
All right, man. Well, look, check back in. Let us know what you find. But
Yeah,
I'm voting for not plugs.
yeah,
My
same,
personal thought.
Same. Yep.
Yeah, and this is a Holley system with the 8 coil mirror plug setup, so it'd be more than just like a distributor or a box or something. So that's what inclines me.
And I would imagine that a box like that has probably 8 coil drivers, like thinking about how they would work. So the odds of them all, being down, ECU voltage could be down. That'd be something I'd look, because that could probably have something to do with how the coils work. I mean, I don't know. That's a good question, but I can tell you from experience, ignition like magnetos and stuff like that can do amazing things that you would never think were possible, and so can MSD boxes. So I wouldn't know why a regular ECU wouldn't either. But 9 times out of 10, it's not something as magical as that. It's just something is up that you're missing.
Is that thing a Ford?
Yep.
Oh, there you go. There's your problem.
All right, Billy, take it easy, man.
All right, we'll see you. Thanks.
See ya.
That's what Rich Guido just said. Ford.
Nathan Horton, we LS swap it.
So he threw you under the bus, huh?
Yeah.
He threw him under the bus. Yeah, it's a shame because that kind of stuff. I mean, I know the magneto problem all too well because it's happened on the dyno a bunch of times, and it was always amazing to me how much
I know.
it could matter when the thing clean, nice, didn't miss a beat. Now, back in those days, there were no widebands on there. I think maybe it would have showed up there.
Yeah.
But
Definitely would have.
And I mean, we got to the point that we were trying to figure out what was going on. We'd have a timing light on it. Like maybe the thing is advancing or retarding or doing something crazy. Nope. They just made no power. And then mag that came back from the magic mag rebuilder guy.
Yep.
Perfect.
It's unbelievable. Yeah. All right. Hey, we got our guest. Dave, you're on the air.
What's up, bitches?
Hey, people have been asking for this. Is Dave Localio from HeadGames Motorworks. Actually, people have been asking for you.
Yeah, a lot of people have.
We keep telling them that
I told them,
you're not that bright.
You don't need this guy. You need it. But they ask.
They want you. You're a wanted man.
They want the dummy.
No, they you must be doing something right. So what's going on, brother?
Had so much good responses from people saying they want to hear me again on the show. I'd love to come out there again if Michael would allow me to brace him. I mean, that word, grace you with my presence.
Perhaps. No, I mean, yeah, Dave, you can come out. I mean, you can come out. At some point, we'll make a day that works out for both of us. It, that like Tom doesn't have anything scheduled. Shocker.
Yeah.
I mean, there might be a day, but no, we can do it. I'd like to have you in here again.
Yeah.
And it's always better when somebody comes in person. Like, somebody had asked for Tommy Martino again, and he's been doing more and more work for my screwed up friend John, and he might be able to just come in here and sit in. And Tommy's a great guy.
Yep.
I mean, we'd have a lot of fun with him. So yeah, I don't mind people coming in here. That's fine.
And
I find the experience of coming in there so much more enjoyable than being on the phone.
Well, sure.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because we could look at each other, and you were rubbing my leg that time.
oh, that's disturbing.
I mean, I love looking at Tom.
And I want to point out that I'm about
doesn't?
as geographically in this room as far away from where Dave would sit. just getting it out there.
Don't stop me, sweetie.
Oh,
I'll
Christ.
give you them eyes.
But I can say one thing though. Last time I saw him was on the dyno at Precision. He was there with his Mustang getting tuned. What were you getting done? 85 tuner.
I was just checking the tune. So we changed the tune in the car, and I wanted to see before and after. So I had a mail order tune.
Right.
And I got a second mail order tune, and picked up 30 horsepower over the previous one. So it worked out really well for me.
Who'd you get them from, if you don't mind me asking?
The first one was from Obama Tune,
Okay.
SET. So it's a Coyote. And then I got Revolution Auto
Oh, in Pennsylvania.
to give me a second tune.
Yeah.
What's that?
Oh, they're in Pensy, right? Oh, Revolution, not Evolution.
Yeah, Revolution is in Maryland.
Yep.
I can't understand the doing that. And I know a lot of people do it, and a lot of people remote tune, and I get it that if you've got a package that you always work with, but it seems that, what the problem is? I probably overanalyzed this. Shocker, right?
Yeah, you overanalyze? Come on.
But yeah, I guess a lot of people do it, and it works. Yeah. God bless them.
I mean, because you can send back and forth. You can send them. You
Catalogs.
can take a snapshot. You can make a poll, see what it does, and then send it to them. So it works out in some sense because there's not a lot of good tuners. There might not be a good tuner that lives in your area. So the only way you could really do it is by mail order.
I don't know. There's tuners everywhere.
Well, the
That-
problem
that
is there's tuners and tunas. That's the problem.
Yeah.
Tuners.
Yeah, I mean, you really, I have my guys. So, I got a mail order tune just because it was a bolt-on car, and then we decided to take it a little step farther, and then that mail order tune is just not going to work. So, we just couldn't link up before I was on the dyno at Precision, so he just sent me a tune just to try it out and see what it would do. I was just trying to get the car in the 11s. That's all I really wanted.
Yeah, that's
to do.
what I
I
remember
never
from
got
that
it,
day.
but
How fast has it gone?
it's been 12.0 to 117. I just can't get that 11.
It's been 117?
Yeah, 117 and a half. That 0.5 is big.
Well, it should. It should go. It should go in the 11s.
Wait,
if I can get
117?
the car to leave a little harder. Yeah, I can't get the car to leave. It's got a stock converter in it, so it just pushes through the brake.
Yeah, but still, 117. It should go 1150 in a really good car. So even in a schmuck car, or a terrible driver, or both, or no air in the tires, or something, it should go 11 something. Did you
Yeah.
Did you think about letting Crystal drive it?
I thought about it, and then she's scared to race it.
Come on,
She wants to drive it on the street, but that worries me. I'd
She-
rather her race it at the track.
dude. She's your girl. She can't be afraid of much.
she's not afraid to drive it on the street, but she is definitely afraid. She doesn't have to do a burnout, and I told her she doesn't really need to. I mean, you could leave the car idle from the starting line, just floor it and get off of it at the end.
Yeah, it's not real hard if you're not trying to, cut a light or leave real hard. I mean, it's pretty easy. Even Tag could do it.
Maybe. So what else, David? What are you working on? That's cool.
Yeah, let's talk about heads. What have you been up to? What's the newest stuff? Have you gotten over your cathedral port fetish? Just tell us where you're at.
Me and Dave we talked like for 40 minutes before.
Did you?
Yeah.
So you probably ruined everything.
We did. Yeah. I did.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I just had 7 sets of square port heads come through the shop, and
he threw them all away because they're shit. Did you weld them up, Dave?
No,
Kidding.
no. I will say that the 243 head that we digitized many years ago still hangs with that square port, at least on the exhaust side. But on the intake side, I mean, obviously that big ass port. But I think that we should not talk about cathedral versus square port.
It's off the table, right?
That
No, I was just
off the table.
I was just asking what you're doing. I don't really care.
I thought I saw him doing a lot of Lamborghini stuff, but
Really?
Yeah.
Lambo stuff?
aren't you?
Yeah, we did some Lamborghini stuff. It just hasn't gotten any traction. We've had cars that make like 2,500, but the Viper thing is just through the roof with Calvo. I mean, we're still the fastest in the world with that, and we do a lot.
Antonio's killing it, isn't he?
Yeah, I mean, they had a street car that went, I think it was 215?
212, yeah. Maybe,
12?
maybe recently they went 215. Yeah, whatever, 212, 215. It's crazy.
Street car.
Yeah.
I mean, like stock wheels.
Yep.
Stock 6-speed. I mean, the car makes 1,800 horsepower. It still has AC. Like, you just can't beat that car. I mean,
Yep.
It's an amazing combination.
And how
Don't
fast?
get me wrong, from the factory, they're a big piece of shit because the bearings go bad. But
Yeah, once they dial him in, and his car, the General, has he gone over 230?
no, he is. I think 230 is the fastest the car's been. 228, somewhere in there.
Yeah.
Well, what are those things? I mean, they're Vipers, but I mean, aren't they like
the twin turbo V10?
aren't they like 8-liter?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're pretty good size engines, aren't they?
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
they're really an LS3, just bigger.
Yeah, the new ones.
Like the ports are all the same. You could tell that Mike Chapman was in there. I don't know if you guys know who Mike Chapman is.
Mhm.
But,
Yep.
you could see Mike Chapman in the cylinder head, and that you could tell that there was definitely the same guy from GM designed both of them at the same time because they're very, very similar. They have the same. The port shape is just turned. It's like an LS3 but turned.
Yeah, well, the new generation Viper is essentially a 10-cylinder late model Hemi. I mean, the rods are the same, the pistons are the same. I believe the valves are the same.
Well, has that motor evolved like in short block from?
Oh yeah.
Really? So they're not.
Yeah.
It wasn't just like a Chrysler
318 anymore.
10-cylinder.
No, now
Whatever.
Now it's like a 10-cylinder Hemi.
Really?
Yeah. And they
did the same thing. Like the earlier ones were almost like a cathedral port, and then they switched it over to a square port.
I think you're just making that up.
I'm serious. They're more round than the LS. You know, like the LS has a square floor, whereas the floor on the Vipers, the older Vipers, were round.
Yep.
But they're really similar.
So you do a lot of them now, right? Because Calvo, Antonio's from New Jersey, and we know him, and now he's doing that Texas thing, and he's been down there for a while, and he's like the name. I mean, when I was in the Middle East, they were talking about him. That's where they get their shit.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
Now, not to sound like an ass, but Vipers aren't like ridiculously expensive, are they?
They're pretty expensive.
No, I think they're like, a brand new one's 110.
Yeah, sort of like Corvette price.
I thought they were more than that, and they don't make them anymore. So
Yeah.
they stopped
And the
making.
head and cam package is 20.
Oof, that's a little. You got to be pretty proud of that.
Yeah, well, I guess if you think about it, you got 10 ports, well, 20 ports. You know, if you're talking intake and exhaust, there's a lot more to do. So yeah, I guess
I'm saying that's tuned. I'm sorry, that's tuned, installed. That's everything.
Yeah, I just and I have to agree with PJ. PJ on there said, not knocking the Viper guys, but I don't know. They were always so weird. You know, it was just.
Yeah, they're big and wide and clunky. I mean, I've driven them. They're not fun. They weren't. I haven't driven a new one.
Well, I remember the guy Weird Harold had one. Used to hang out at the shop.
Makes sense.
Yeah, Weird Harold, very interesting cat to say the least. And when he first got that thing, I remember driving it, and it was basically like a race car chassis on the street. That's all. I mean, it rode like that. It handled like that. It felt like that. It was not a car that I would want to drive every day.
Dave's right. The ACR Coupe is 118, 119.
Yeah. So because I thought I saw them, like, I don't know if they're going to go up now that they're gone, but I mean, I thought I saw things where you could buy them for like 65, 70.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
And I'm not saying that's, yeah, I'm not saying that. Yeah, we'll see that again, the generations, I never kept track of those things. For all I knew, they had the same motor in them from jump.
No, it's the motor's changed, I think, 4 times. But they've really come a long way. The ACR car is really cool. They're better looking. I don't think they're any lighter, but apparently they drive better. But Antonio's car's got a sequential in it. It's pretty badass. I mean, that's got to be cool.
2,800 horsepower.
That's got to be neat. 2,800 twin turbo sequential trans.
And I guess you probably don't have to lean on a thing all that hard to make that kind of power, do you? I mean, here we are again, throwing these numbers around.
Yeah,
but the motor's, 8 liters plus, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's got to make some stuff a little easier. Bigger has to be better.
Yeah.
In that aspect.
No doubt. No doubt. I mean, still, you're talking about. Go ahead, Dave.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No.
Yeah, you go.
No, you go. You hang up. No, you.
It took 2 years before he hit me up for to refresh the heads. So they don't pull them apart very often afterwards. Like after you build them, I mean, you don't have to lean on it very hard.
Wow.
All right. Well, what else you been up to? Enough Viper stuff. That's got 10 cylinders. I don't even want to think about that. I don't want to go past 8, and I don't want to go below 8. I'd like to stay right around there. So all you V6 EcoBoost guys, sorry, you're out of luck.
So you're right around 8 is what you're saying?
Right around an 8 is the size of motor, the type motor I'd like to discuss,
right.
Preferably in a V configuration.
Okay.
Would be good.
90 degree?
I don't need Tad bolting 2 motors together and say, let's talk about this.
Nice.
I got a 6-cylinder and a 4-cylinder to talk about.
Well, the 4-cylinder stuff and the 6-cylinder stuff, not to, I mean, like for me, I'm a V8 guy, but I got to tell you that 2JZ stuff is stupid.
It really is.
It is really stupid how much power they make.
Yep.
And I guess that's like your main thing at this point, or is now the Viper's taking it over?
No, the Subaru is our number 1,
Yeah.
and 2J is number 2, and then Viper's a close 3.
Okay.
But the 2J stuff, we've been working with Chris Delgado over at ProSpeed, and he's got Dewey Bowie, I think is how you say his last name, White Rice.
Yep.
We've been flying with this car. Right now, the car has been...
Somebody just wrote about that. Talk about white rice. I'm like, what the fuck is this guy talking?
They know, man.
All right, go ahead.
An Asian owns it. You know an Asian owns it with that.
Yeah, of course.
So they had 101 hits on the short block. The car's been 690 at 204.
That's amazing.
Freshen up.
That's amazing.
65 hits on the head before they burnt it. And it wasn't like all this stuff's coming apart just because they want to freshen it, not because it's hurt. It's insanity how well that car is. I mean, I attribute that to a lot of the engine builder. Fabian Bell's been building it over at Arrow. But the tuner, Chris Delgado's definitely got that thing on kill.
You do have
to.
You got to tip your hat to the engine builder, but that engine design is pretty much.
But see that's, and I mean the engine design side. Like I remember the guy that passed away, Danny Sylvester, when we were talking about certain motorcycle engines, certain import engines. He said certain import engines were built, like even than bikes, were built so far beyond the capacity for what they had to do that you could do things like this.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I guess that must be what goes on there because we like talk about, oh my God, people have done so much with an LS and put so much power in a, kind of a semi-factory configuration LS, like no aftermarket blocks or anything too nuts. Look at what this thing's doing. I mean, that's pretty, because I mean, what is, who are the guys? Damn it. We had them on. They talked about like 60 pounds of boost.
Real Street.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My God.
They all compete in the same.
90 pounds of boost for this.
Dave does heads for them too. How much? 90?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy.
90. Yeah, we do all the heads for Real Street. But yeah, we ran 90 pounds of boost through White Rice.
Isn't it crazy?
And Jamie Carter as well, because you had Don Somerton on.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
It would just seem to me that like
really.
with that level of boost, there could be like so little margin for anything.
Yeah. For error, you mean? Any kind of error.
For any kind of error.
Yeah.
Anything to go wrong. Anything. Like a bird farted in front of the air intake and it brought in,
Well, it's funny. The guys talk about the LS and they're kind of right. LS is in stock form, they're making a lot of power now. But the reality is nobody knows how long they make that power. They do break. They do blow up. Shit does happen. With the 2J, you could make 1,000 horsepower on a stock 2J and it could last for, years.
It's absolutely amazing. And a guy in there, Mr. Lee, on the chat room says 90 pounds. That's air compressor shit.
That's true. Yeah. Yep. That's where the pop-off valve goes off, right?
Yeah. How much boost do you run? 90. No, not your air compressor. I'm talking about it's insane.
Or the diesel retards.
Well, we changed cams in it, and they were able to make the same power at a lower boost level. So they had like a ton of cylinder pressure. So we were able to get around that with a different set of cams from GSC Power Division. We changed that up. So, now we're in the 65, 70 range. You don't have to run it as hard, but you got to think that they run these kind of boost levels and they run nitrous. It's on methanol. And it is an aftermarket block, though. It's a aluminum block.
Yeah,
I know it blocks.
I know they got to the point that, like we were talking about, who had the one that split. Like just lifted the whole top of the front of the block off.
Well, I don't remember, but lots of people, that happens to lots of people.
Yeah.
Jamie Carter, that was Don over it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It was.
Yep.
It was Don's.
It blew the whole front of the block off.
Yep. That was crazy.
That's pretty commonplace. That's why everybody started switching to the billet stuff.
Yeah, once they get above like 50 pounds, right?
Yeah, it just starts breaking stuff.
Now, with those particular heads, what did you find? Did they need more volume as these things came up and up and up, or what did they seem to need to make them better?
They enjoy to be smaller than bigger.
Really?
So
the 2Js, yeah.
A lot of the stuff we've done. I'm going to try a big port on one, but from what I've seen, is I would think that the volume you need because of methanol and because of boost, the bigger port would work better. But it seems to be that the smaller port makes more torque, and it kind of goes into our conversation with the LS stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And like small valves, we can make 1,1700 horsepower on a stock size valve. It just makes more torque. So it really depends on where you want the power. So if we want to kill it, we'll put a bigger valve in it, and that way it softens the hit.
Mm-hmm. Well, where do those things make peak? Like peak horsepower and peak torque?
Well, the big ones? I mean, the ones that make big power, it's up high because you got to have a turbo that is going to work up. Yeah. Well, because of the turbo, it's going to be up high. But I mean, I would say probably in the 8,600 range. David?
I really don't know because they don't really dyno them.
Yeah, they really don't.
Like, they just make so much power. I have no idea. Like, you don't see any dyno numbers from them.
Well, you see all those
low boost you'd see on the dyno.
You see all those pictures of the people sitting in the trunks of those things trying to get the tires to get traction on the dynos and stuff.
Yeah, it's just impossible to get like a good number on anything that makes at least that kind of power.
Yeah. That's why I think more people are going to start using engine dynos more. I mean, I hear talk about it in a lot of places. Speaking of which, what about your 4-cylinder deal?
So that would be you and I teaming up when we did Asians stuff.
Oh, that one. Yeah, that's a pretty cool deal. That thing's actually ready to ship too, by the way.
Is it?
Yeah. Yeah, I talked to Rick today.
Yeah, they were waiting for some stuff.
Yeah, they got some stuff.
So we I teamed up with Tom, and we got like a dream team together. And Asian from Street Outlaws is going to do a Subaru swap in his VW in the Dung Beetle.
That's a true story. And
So
it's going to make. Yeah. Sorry, Dave. Go ahead.
It's going to make about between 500 and 600 horsepower. We got IAG involved, Manley, GSC Power Division, and HeadGames.
It's going to be a good deal.
And Misfire Motorsports, is it called?
Yeah, Misfire Motorsports is running the whole. They're running the whole show.
They're going to put it together.
Yep.
What did he put in that for a trans?
He's actually putting a sequential in it.
Boy, that's got to be big money. It's because it's a sequential rear transaxle.
Yeah. I think it's
Is it a Ricardo?
It's in Albans, I think. Or
Jesus.
I think it's in Albans. It's the ones they run in those
Buggies.
dune buggies. Yeah.
Ouchie.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they're not cheap. It's not 4,500 or whatever. But yeah, that's a good deal for us, Dave. We're gonna have fun with that. And I forgot when I called you before. That was one of the reasons I called you, to mention that thing's gonna be shipping.
The thing's going to be sitting on its rear end.
So, and our tuner's in China right now. So when he gets back, we're gonna make plans to go down there, I think. You're intending to go down, right?
I'm absolutely going down.
Yeah.
I can't miss a trip with Tom Rosano.
No, you really can't. Nobody wants to. I think everybody should come.
405.
Everybody should
Yeah, it was
come,
a good time.
except Fudd.
To what? Where? Oklahoma?
Yeah.
I'd like to see that.
OKC.
I'd like to see. I don't want to see the city.
Well, you fly over it.
Like cornfields and shit. Do they have cornfields there?
Probably.
Yeah, that kind of stuff. That's my kind of deal. I got to get the hell out of here.
We'll go there. We'll eat barbecue, and we'll make some power. It'll be fun.
Somebody break out the Sonic map.
See if there's anything. So what else, David?
I had Chick-fil-A. Tom introduced me to Chick-fil-A. I've never had Chick-fil-A.
Yeah. And you liked it, right?
It took us to go to OKC to have it. Yeah, it was pretty good.
Yeah. Well, yeah, we got to get back there.
Yes, we got.
It'll be fun. So, I know you're busy there. What's new with the business? Anything happening?
Well, I got a new team. Not a new team, I should say, but we've expanded our team. We got really slow during, September of last year. At the same time, I took on 2 new employees, and we were slow probably till January, I think. And, it was really slow. But it gave us a really rare opportunity I've never had in the business to have 2 younger guys that were, really willing to learn, which is also rare. And they showed up every day, and they wanted to do it. And we trained them. We trained them crazily. And they learned how to do a lot of stuff that we would normally not have time to teach them. And I really think I have the dream team at the shop now. We have a really good combination of people. So hopefully we're going to work towards getting the CNC that I've been talking about for at least 5 years.
Mm-hmm. Having prices on machines that would be head capable come down? I was just...
only gone up.
Really? Well, I guess it depends on I think about the stuff like that M2 had. Is you talking about that kind of stuff?
Yeah, that kind of stuff has come down.
I think that kind of, the crazy stuff, what's the thing you were talking about? The 200 axis, whatever the hell the thing was?
DMG?
Yeah, whatever that is.
Yeah. 200 axis.
Well, bringing string theory all the way into CNC machine. No, but you know what I mean? Doesn't the head roll around and all sorts of shit?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think that, that's something that the advancements have driven down in cost. because I was looking at CNC stuff, just little stuff, just because maybe to make like knickknacks for things that you wanted.
Yeah.
And I couldn't believe how cheap you could get a relatively small machine for. It was amazing. But I mean, I know heads get.
Yeah, I mean, for what Dave needs, and it's an investment. But you'll get there, David.
Small Haas. You're probably talking about like a small Haas. You can get like the small ones are like $20,000.
Yeah.
You don't have a suite in. You're not going to get a suite in Mastercam or any of those, but you can do the Fusion 360, which is free for 3 years, and make some small stuff, but that's only like a 3-axis machine. It's basically a Bridgeport.
Yeah. Yeah. When you get into the head stuff, that's where, I mean, I remember watching, I think Ron at M2s was the first one I ever saw doing a cylinder head. I'm like, that's pretty weird. Like everything moving around like that.
Yeah, and he had a tilt and rotate. He had made, I think, a tilt and rotating table.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So,
And that thing went cheap. That got sold for like $30,000.
yeah.
But the one that I need is about $200 for the cheaper of the versions.
Yeah, that'll leave a mark.
Mm-hmm.
They're between $200,000 to $300,000, and that's for like the
Dollars?
yeah.
That's a lot of dollars.
$200,000. They're about $3,800 a month, which is about another employee.
Yeah. So fire somebody.
Yeah, I mean, that's a lot of heads. I mean, that's a lot of heads to do for a long period of time. And then, not only that, you look at, the cost of the machine per month, and then look at the consumables, look at the, everything from the mills to the coolant to the electricity and everything. I think there was a time that we actually talked about all this
Yeah, we did.
at length, trying to figure out what the real deal was. And I think we concluded that was kind of a virtual impossible thing to really come out okay.
Yep.
But a lot of people do it, so it's got to be doable.
Hey, Dave, one of our listeners had.
We'll buy a second one.
Sorry.
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
One of our listeners has a question for you. He wants to know cylinder head secret stuff. What improvements can he make on a 317 head for boost, the big single turbo, just cleaning up the cast ports and the chambers? I mean, do you have any recommendation for him, or is he going to make his shit worse?
I would sell that and buy like a 243 or any of them really. Just because the chamber is so big.
Oh.
Like I'd rather get into a smaller chamber.
But it's what he has.
So if you're going to do anything, forget the port, and I would do a good valve job if you know somebody who has. You really need to find somebody who has a good valve job for one of them.
Banish is in the chat room, and I like his idea. If you're not going to pay a head porter, add more boost. That works. Just turn that knob 1 more pound, and that'll be adequate.
That's a good plan, actually.
Yeah, not trying to take any work away from Dave, but this is one of those things that I think that, head porting, I mean, look, everybody's got to start somewhere, but out of all the things that I am, probably the single largest control freak I've ever met. And that's something that I wouldn't do. I would not want to do what Dave does.
No.
Nope.
I love it.
Well, that's good.
This brought up a really good conversation that I think we could all talk about is valve jobs.
Go ahead.
I'm going to make a video about a lot of people think that if they just drop a cylinder head off at Johnny's Feed and Speed and they say, I want a 5-angle valve job, they think that just because they say 5-angle, that they're going to get what the head wants or the head needs. They don't understand that, like, there's an array. There's hundreds of combinations of those 5 angles.
And you know which 5 angles work.
Well, you end up knowing what 5 angles work from the experience with that given head. I mean, that's so I mean, you would probably have a better idea than most, say what would work on a 2JZ head, what they like.
Correct. But a lot of people think that they could just, I'm just going to get, they ask me to port it, and they're going to get their local machine shop to machine it, and they think they're going to get something killer out of that, and they're going to save some money. But in reality, they're hurting themselves because I know what valve job is going to work on it, and which one's going to hurt it. Because I've hurt many heads over my years by putting the wrong 3 or 4 or 5 angles on it.
Here's a guy that said,
Actually, the 5-angle stuff
are radius valve jobs any good? I know they never used to be. I don't know if they are now.
It really depends on the head. I very rarely use a radius, and if I do, I don't like to use it as a cutter because it'll deflect. Mainly because we're using a dead pilot.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it does the same thing on a live pilot, but on a dead pilot machine, it'll deflect the cutter. So I'd rather just use a 3-angle, and then I'll radius it in by hand.
Mm-hmm.
But I've seen people do that on the intake side, which is absolutely ridiculous. And on the exhaust side, most heads don't like it. They'll hurt it.
Well, it's kind of funny. Like back years ago, there was a person that we used to do valve jobs. His name was Billy Crow. And I say was, like he's gone. I don't know if he's gone. I mean, he was...
Bill Crowley.
Yeah. He was fantastic, and he did everything by stone. Everything. And I mean, that was before, the machines, and the same thing with the honing. And there was something, because he knew specifically, over time, what a big block 990 head needed, what a small block Chevy, large chamber type head needed. And, you'll learn all that stuff. And I remember him looking at things that people did. I remember we brought him something that came from a head porter, like a good head porter, and they used a machine. And we had run the thing on a dyno, and it was poor. And Billy says, yeah, I can fix it. I see the things that are wrong with it. The angles are wrong for this. The guy doesn't know what he's doing with this. He knows the port's nice, but he doesn't know what he's doing with the heads. He's like, I can pick it up a bunch. And he did. And it wasn't because the valve job was quote unquote bad. It's like Dave saying, a valve job is not a binary. It's not you have it or you don't.
Right.
There's a lot to that. And there's a lot to the specific head.
Yep. I think the best advice we can give this guy Nick, that wants his heads to work better, is send him to HeadGames.
Yeah, you send it to somebody who's qualified, that knows, and it's expensive. I mean, Dave, what do you guys get for a valve job now? I don't even know.
I don't break it up in just a valve job because I got to take it apart and I got to do all kinds of different stuff. So something like him, like if he was just a rebuild, it'd be $700 to take it apart, clean it, valve job it, mill it, and assemble it.
To be honest with you, that sounds pretty cheap.
Yeah, I mean, it's something that we can turn around in a day.
That sounds pretty cheap because, like, you take a guy, now granted, we're talking about the days of stones, and, a million different stones. Like, I'd watch Billy dress and, between every single, I mean, it was crazy what went into it. But, like, a valve job back then from him was like $450 without taking anything apart, without cleaning shit. You got it back however it came. Wow. I mean, that's what it cost. So
back then,
I'm kind of surprised that
time consuming. Yeah, it was time consuming to do it the way he did it.
Yeah.
Stone, like you said.
Yeah. But I mean, I'm kind of surprised that it just seems like that because the cost of equipment went up to do it. So yeah, okay, it takes more time, but what is a good, Surdy type machine, or what's that other one? Epoch people talk about?
Yeah.
They're a lot of,
those, they're 110 pounds.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a single point. I mean, those are the ones that guys do radius stuff with that actually can work if the head likes it, because they go in and single point cut them.
Yeah. Yeah, it won't deflect on it.
Yep.
Well, I got to tell you, that sounds like a bargain to get heads freshened up. I mean,
and done right. Yeah.
And done right. Yeah, ain't bad. That's not bad at all.
Nate Horgan's spouting off about Facebook, man. I'll put you in touch. Come on, Nate. We're trying to get a listener some work here, man. I mean, a guest. You hump.
He's gonna make a meme about Tom now.
I've gotten so many jobs from Power and Speed. I want to say thank you.
Oh,
that's awesome.
Awesome about it.
I think that's a crock of shit, but okay.
No, he actually he sent me like screenshots of messages that he's got.
Really?
Yeah. I just don't share them with you because you never call me.
I get one.
Because I don't call you. Fucking guy. Well, I mean, look, Dave, you're more than welcome to come in. You know, it like you said, the experience is better when you're here. When it's I never understood it, but like when you're trying to do like a call in like this, until you actually sit on both sides of it, you never really understand what's going on. It's much better in person to be able to look at people and make faces at Tad when he does something stupid. It's a lot easier.
No doubt.
I enjoy it. I'd love to come in. Maybe we'll do something the next couple weeks to a month or so.
Yeah, we can figure something out.
Yep. No doubt.
Cool.
We'll meet here.
Well, thanks, guys, for having me on.
No problem.
Dave, I'll call you tomorrow. We got to go over some stuff about OKC, but I'll call you.
Sounds good.
All right.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, buddy.
If anybody wants to find me, they can find me on Facebook, HeadGames Motorworks, or you can email me, sales@headgamesmotorworks.com, or give me a call, 609. Well, nobody's going to have it. You can look me up on the internet.
Well, when they listen to this, they can push the rewind button and just go back.
It's a podcast. Give your number.
609-882-3211.
There you go.
All right, man. Well,
and chat with me.
yeah, thanks, Dave. And really, honestly, if you need anything done, call the guy, because not only that, I mean, I'm going to have a little talk with Dave at some point, but those prices sound pretty damn good. It's that's a good deal for quality work.
Cool. Thank you. I appreciate the plug. I'll talk to you soon, guys.
No problem, buddy.
Thanks,
See
Dave.
you, Dave.
See you,
Thanks.
bud.
See you.
He's a good guy. He's real quiet. It's better when he's here. He's more animated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just easier, too.
It is easier.
It's easier when people are in.
Well, maybe what we should do is next time you figure out what guest is going to come in, we'll just send them plane tickets. Because you don't have that helicopter. I know I ain't got mine yet.
No.
So there's no way to do that.
But we're going to send them plane tickets?
Yeah, sure. Cheaper than a helicopter.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Cheaper than a helicopter. I'd actually like to get Banish to come in here. Because you could talk to him
Yeah, about a whole...
for
Yeah.
hours.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hours and hours and hours.
From
He'll
home.
get to come in.
He'll be sleeping over
No,
with you.
that doesn't happen here.
It might.
Nope.
Yeah.
Nope. Unless you're... No, we're not going to get into that.
By the way, I just got
Yes.
a text from Rich. He said there's not the crank trigger, but the wiring to my crank trigger was, or crank sensor was having the problem.
Did a mouse eat it?
Could possibly be. I don't know. They're working
Or
on
was
it now.
it
So.
fungus riddled and
Did they,
the wire fell
did they
apart?
fix it?
No, he said they're working on it now,
Oh, okay.
but they've diagnosed that's what the problem is.
All right, good.
Okay.
So now what are they going to do? They're going to give you break-in tune?
Yes, to
Or some
drive it
shit?
around, put some miles on it, and then it's going to come. I'll make an appointment with Kevin, and it'll
Mhm.
go on the dyno for the numbers.
Okay. Okay. And you did go back to an exhaust manifold,
Yes,
right?
correct.
Okay, because your
So now
eBay
it'll-
header split.
It'll sound like dub again.
Fantastic.
You-
I lost that fucking sound clip of Jeremy Clarkson. I got to get that.
You got a stock manifold?
Yeah, put my stock manifold back on it.
They're fine.
Yeah.
You'll be fine, Todd.
Yeah. It's going to sound like every other Subaru now, damn it. But anyway, whatever.
Be nice to just shake the mold out of the thing. Drive down the road. I could see Todd driving down the road, big cloud of green mold.
Oh,
Did you see the picture of the stuff that came out of the muff?
No, that was when I was in my Facebook tirade before they deleted my stuff.
Well, there was on fucking Instagram, buddy. They fired it up, and there's a big freaking trail of like
seeds.
seeds and
So you had all sorts of
trail
shit living
mix
in
that
the
was in the
mufflers.
muffler.
But
from-
dude, it was like
Victor
2
Dino.
pounds of it. It,
was like-
wasn't like 4 seeds.
It was like a 4-foot streak of freaking trail mix out of
It was.
I know. I just saw it. I just saw the pictures of Tad's car on my phone when we first got it over here. So, well, when the thing gets done, because now he's going to be all fixed up. He's got a hood.
Yeah.
You know, the
Yes,
only thing he's
can't wait
got
to
is
put that on.
his banged up fucking nose. He should fix that, but he doesn't. I'm not fixing that. You know, whatever. But I mean, other than that, your seats are still here. They're up in the back.
Yeah.
They're sitting on top of a race car up on the loft. I saw him
the
sit there.
back seats. Yeah.
Yeah, I saw the one in the back seats like hanging off the side of the race car. I'm like, that's going to fall down.
That should be an 11-second car.
It should be.
It should
I would
be.
think
It
so.
really should.
Except now I gotta have a freaking diaper on it if we're going to go to Echo.
Nonsense. What, everything's got to have a diaper?
Any 4-cylinder has to have a diaper if it goes
That's
past
discrimination.
11.5.
Oh, you're not going to go past 11.5.
Nah.
Oh, you drive.
I know this, that like there are, rules that I guess don't seem to apply anymore because like Jeff got thrown on an island
Right.
by Doofus, by a guy that, used to help at the old shop all the time, Greg Myers. He ejected Jeff because Jeff went too fast, but Jeff's gone too fast everywhere.
Yeah.
Nobody's ever said anything.
Yep.
Like not a word.
Well, ACO seems to be hey, that was a fast car. Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes they look the other way.
Yeah. Yeah, I was kind of surprised at that because that's now maybe it's just ATCO. But no, now that I think about it, Jeff's been Englishtown. And when they were open.
When it was open.
And not thrown out?
No. And I think he had gone fast enough because he had been, I don't know if he went into the 10s, but he went well into the 11s. And you got to have a bar for that, right?
Supposed to.
I don't remember now.
Yeah, I think you do.
I don't fucking know.
I think you do. Whatever. Okay. Well, it was nice of Dave to call in.
Yeah.
Yep.
Do I bother even telling people to add to the thread of
Yeah,
who they'd like to have?
yeah.
I mean, look, no kidding aside, Tom knows like everybody. There's hardly anybody you could talk to that he doesn't know or hasn't had a dealing with. That, like, I mean, but we talked about it today, and I said, Tom, who'd you get? He's like, I'm drawing a blank, dude. I can't think of who to call.
Well, first of all, let's try to stay on people that, number one, we haven't had yet.
Mm-hmm.
You know, everybody wants Shane back, and I do too. But he's a busy guy, and you know, he's been here, and let's try to get some suggestions for new people that aren't Brian Tooley.
Okay.
I mean, he's not. If you guys want to have him on when I'm not here, God bless you. But I don't have anything against the guy. It's just a business thing.
And I've said it before. The John Booley guy. Look.
Yeah, he could come on.
I don't know. He must think I hate him or something. I don't hate the guy.
No,
he
doesn't want to come on because he can't. Whatever.
You can ask Jeff. I'm really not a bad guy. I'm not as big of a dick as I seem. I'm a ball buster.
You don't have to tell me. I know that.
Why don't you call him up and tell him?
And imagine when I don't have a filter and I'm on Twitter.
Oof.
It's terrible.
That's pretty bad. I know that too.
Well, Mike's got a bigger list of people that he's blocked on Twitter than people that he knows. So.
Wow, Nate Horgan has a good idea. MMR. I can call Mark.
Why don't you write that on that list that you're never going to take? What is there, one name on it?
Well, it's the only one Tad said. I said, Tad, read some names. And he said, Ken.
There's literally a piece of paper here with, and I was going to take and be the smart guy and text you the list. There's one
name.
Well, I can't even take the blame for that. I was trying.
I was reading off names.
No, you weren't.
Yes, I was.
Yeah, all the ones that were here already.
Well.
All right. Nate, in case you weren't listening in the beginning, Tire Guy's coming Monday. He's signed up already. So, there.
We talked about a suspension guy. We got to find somebody.
Yeah, who could be good?
I don't know, because that was always outside of what I did. I don't.
Yeah.
Wait, didn't you do it on the dirt car? Or that's just another?
No, that's different.
Animal.
It would help if I was any good at it.
Well,
it's different anyway.
Well, you're trying to say it was all Brian's driving?
Our guys are going to, he is a good driver.
He's a good driver. Much better than I was at the car. I feel that I have said this, and I'll say it publicly. My failure stopped him from winning more races, trying to figure this out. And it was just tough for me. I don't know why.
Ooh, Tim McCamus. Wow.
Ooh, he's writing another name.
I'd like to have Paul Yaw come back too, Dave. I see Dave in there. Oh, and a guy asked for a Corvette update. I promise you we will have an update next week. I can assure you of that, because there's a couple of things going on, but I'll have much more information next week. So just hang tight. I'm not trying to be all cloak and dagger, but cloak and dagger. Let's see.
Wow, there's a lot of names flashing by.
Yes.
Mr. Eibach. Allison, she's got to put a net on herself.
Yeah, Paul, Shane, Marco. As a trio, listen, man, I don't think you could possibly do that unless they were sitting here. I don't think that could ever possibly have three people on the phone, especially guys that would all be willing to talk.
Everybody would stop and wait for the other person to.
Yeah, it would be tough. They'd have to be here, and I don't have that many microphones, and I don't want to send that many plane tickets.
Chris Delgado. That'd be a good one. Allison, yeah, do that and call me. And
Allison, I do have to talk to you about other things, but I will.
What kind of things?
Dyno.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Getting more and more serious about this.
Good.
No, it's not good.
Jason Miller.
Is he from the Trump administration? Oh, it's Stephen Miller.
I mean, do people really want to hear about track prep? And I don't know if he wants to talk about track prep.
What, a secret?
How about Chris Miller? Why didn't I think of him?
See, this is good that you guys are doing this. And boy, I'm telling you, this is going to be horrible for people listening. They're going to be like,
yeah, why didn't they just end the show?
They're just spitting out names. I don't know what the hell they're talking about. But we're reading the chat room. If you're not in the chat room, at some point there's
Miller Ray, supercar, Miller Race Cars. Yeah, I know him. Actually, I just wrote Chris down. I don't know why I never thought of that. An idiot. Me again. Yeah. All right, let's wrap this shit up. We'll talk off.
Banish Jack Daniels.
Yeah. Apparently he knows him well.
God. All right. Well, look, guys, we will have the Mickey Thompson tire guy. We will promote it. We will put it up as soon as it's 100% confirmed.
It's confirmed. I confirmed it today. Yep.
All right. Well, then what you should do is get me some information so I can get it up. We'll get up like on Wednesday.
That's why I didn't want to spill it when I made the announcement yesterday.
Yeah.
So.
Well, like I said, things come up in people's lives.
Yeah.
Tom had to do that thing yesterday or with his kid.
Yep.
Which I understand. It's all right. I guess that's it. All right. So anything from anybody else? Tad will be on the road. I'll have an update for you guys. And
actually, I can say one thing.
If you say something about a diesel, I'm going to punch you in the forehead.
Nope. You know what Legionnaire's disease is?
Yeah.
That New York is having a problem with? I'm making anodes to eliminate it from New York at my shop.
Anodes to eliminate it from New York.
To eliminate it from
I didn't
the
know
water
they had
supply.
Legionnaire's disease, but it's a good reason not to go there.
Look at Ted saving the world.
Saving the world.
No, not in the world. It's
Maybe
New
get
York,
you a
by
job
the way.
with the Trump administration. Maybe Bernie Sanders would be better for you.
Wait a minute. What?
Pool, pond.
No.
Pond would be good for you.
All right. We'll see y'all next week.